Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the mistakes people make when raising seedlings from seeds. Mistakes that often prevent the seeds from germinating properly or cause the young plants to fail shortly after sprouting. New gardeners in particular often face these issues, which can be quite discouraging. So, today I'll show you how to avoid these errors and successfully prepare your seedlings so you can plant them out. Make sure to watch the full video. And if you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future updates. As you can see here, I've successfully prepared a batch of seedlings for planting, and I've achieved nearly 100% germination. Right here is a tomato plant. Look how healthy and well it's growing. Next to it, I have bottle gourd plants that are also thriving. All the other seeds I planted have germinated and are growing beautifully. So you too can achieve these results. I'll explain the common mistakes you need to avoid so you can successfully raise seedlings just like I do. The first mistake gardeners often make involves the temperature and the season. You should always plant seasonal vegetables. If you are growing specific vegetables, maintaining the right temperature is crucial. Temperature plays a vital role in seed germination. If you don't maintain the temperature according to the plant's needs, the seeds might not germinate at all, or even if they do, the seedlings may eventually fail. So, keep these points in mind whenever you are planting seeds. The first thing to keep in mind is to always check the expiry date of the seeds, regardless of when or where you buy them. Using old seeds is often the reason why they fail to germinate. Most seeds have a shelf life of about 6 to 12 months, so purchase them carefully and ensure the packet isn't torn, as moisture ingress can spoil the seeds. The third point concerns the container. Ensure there is proper drainage at the bottom of the vessel where you are raising your plants. Without drainage, watering will lead to waterlogging, causing the seeds or plants to rot. Finally, consider the soil medium. When sowing seeds, use a mix of 50% cocoa peat and 50% vermicompost. The cocoa peat retains moisture, while the vermicompost provides necessary nutrients. While you can grow plants in cocoa peat alone, it lacks nutrients, so leaving a plant in it for too long can hinder its growth. Therefore, always use a mixture of peat and compost to grow your seeds. The fifth and most significant mistake gardeners make, preventing seeds from germinating, is not planting them at the correct depth. Either they are planted too deep in the soil or too shallow. Planting them too deep causes the seeds to rot and decay underground, preventing germination. Conversely, planting them too shallow means that watering can displace them, which disrupts the germination process. Always plant seeds at the appropriate depth. Place larger seeds about 1 inch deep and smaller seeds between 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch deep. Essentially, determine the depth based on the seed size. The sixth point to consider is spacing. Ensure the seeds are properly spaced. If planted too close together, the resulting seedlings will become leggy, growing excessively tall and thin, and eventually fail to thrive. So, always maintain proper spacing just as I am demonstrating here. The seventh point concerns the soil layer added after planting. Do not press it down too firmly. You can press it gently, but excessive pressure will hinder proper germination. Finally, the eighth point is to avoid planting seeds directly into standard garden soil. Garden soil is often too dense, contains stones, and may harbor harmful pathogens that impede successful germination. You can use seedling trays for planting seeds. The advantage of using these trays is that the plants grow properly, and when it comes time to transplant them, they can be removed easily without the plant suffering from shock. So, always try to use seedling trays like these. However, if you don't have one, you can use individual cups or similar containers to grow your seedlings. One important thing to keep in mind is to always use a fungicide in the soil when planting seeds or seedlings. Meaning, mix the fungicide into the soil before planting. If you prefer organic methods, you can use trichoderma fungicide. If you use chemicals, there are many options available, such as SOF or Bavastin. However, I would recommend the organic fungicide trichoderma, as it is excellent for dealing with soil-borne diseases. For this, trichoderma is the best option. What you see here is a trichoderma fungicide. It is completely organic. When using it, do not use an excessive amount. Just a pinch or two is sufficient. For instance, if you are using it for a container or a tray, just 1 or 2 pinches will do. Once added to the soil, trichoderma multiplies on its own, so there is no need to use large quantities. The 10th point to keep in mind is not to place the seeds in direct sunlight after sowing them. Whether you are using seedling trays or pots, avoid direct sun exposure. Instead, keep them in a completely shaded area until germination occurs. Proper germination depends on this. Placing them in the sun can often prevent seeds from sprouting due to excessive heat. As I have mentioned before, temperature plays a crucial role in seed germination. Therefore, always ensure that the seedling tray or pot remains in a fully shaded spot until germination begins. The 11th point concerns watering. Do not let the soil dry out after sowing the seeds. Water them regularly to maintain soil moisture. If the soil lacks proper moisture, the seeds will not germinate effectively. Uneven moisture levels can lead to inconsistent germination times. Some seeds might sprout while others do not. So always maintain adequate moisture in the sowing area. However, be careful not to overwater. Excessive water can cause the seeds to rot underground. Water only enough to keep the soil moist so that germination can take place. Overwatering leads to rotting, which prevents the seeds from sprouting. Always keep these points in mind. The final and most important thing to remember when sowing seeds is this. As soon as the seeds begin to germinate, move them out of their initial containers, whether they are seedling trays, individual cups, or whatever else you used, and place them in a spot where they can get at least 1 or 2 hours of sunlight daily. If the plants don't receive adequate sunlight after germination, they will become leggy, meaning they will grow excessively tall and thin, and will eventually either wither or become unsuitable for transplanting. Therefore, as soon as you notice germination starting, move them to a well-lit area. Keep them in that spot, receiving just an hour or two of sun for the first 3 or 4 days. After that, move them to a location that gets at least 3 to 4 hours of sunlight. This ensures proper, healthy growth. This way, when you eventually transplant them, the plants will continue to thrive. What you see here are watermelon seedlings, and these are par-wall, pointed gourd seedlings. Now, let me show you some capsicum plants I grew from seeds harvested at home, specifically from the fruit of a capsicum plant I had previously grown myself. Look how healthy and well-developed they are. If you maintain the right sunlight and temperature, your plants will grow just as healthily. Notice that none of the plants have become leggy. They are all growing properly. So, if you keep these few points in mind when planting, you will achieve excellent germination, potentially close to 100%. And your plants will. Proper seedling growth is crucial. If the seedlings develop well, the plant will thrive after transplanting and yield a good harvest. Conversely, if you make mistakes at the initial stage, resulting in unhealthy seedlings, it will negatively impact the plant's subsequent growth and reduce overall production. Essentially, the key takeaway is that healthy seedlings are vital for a plant's healthy development and high yield. By keeping these factors in mind when sowing seeds, you ensure successful germination, healthy seedling growth, and ultimately a productive plant. I hope you found this video useful. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you have any gardening-related queries, feel free to ask in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.